Stampers, I'm Nancy Novak from StampinShoppe.com and welcome to my Wednesday evening tutorial. So today we're going to make 3 cards, and this week we are featuring the Country Flowers stamp set. It has some great flower images and great planter pots and some really nice sentiments. And then you can cut everything out with the coordinating dies. Plus it has a lot of little extra dies that cut out flowers and leaves and things like that. So it's a really fun stamp set. We're going to make 3 cards. I have a peach pie theme going this week, so it's a lot of peach pie is being used in all 3 cards. Plus I'm going to use the Unbounded Love dies for a lot of my sentiments. So remember I told you when we first started using this die set that it's great. It coordinates with all of your stamp sets. It's really nice for lots of different sentiments. So you're going to see how that goes in tonight's cards. So our first card has a peach pie card base and a piece of white for the inside and then a scrap of white for stamping. So not a lot of supplies. Something different too that we haven't done before. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in this die right here. And I'm going to lay it on the front of the card. And we're going to create a little window. So I'm going to place it wherever I want it to be, which is in this bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to open it up all the way. And I'm going to go ahead and run this through the machine and cut out a little window. And I will be right back. Okay, so it cut out the little window. And we got this little extra piece right there. And it's really cute. It's got little stitching all the way around it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the eyelet lace embossing folder, and I'm going to emboss the front of our card. So with the Stampin' Up image on top, that's the correct way to place it. And I'm just going to put it right up to the score line. Make sure it's nice and straight in there. And then I'm going to run that through the machine and give it some pretty texture. I will be right back. Okay, can you see that? Isn't that pretty? I love that embossing folder. Okay, let's do a little bit of stamping with these pretty dies. So I'm going to bring in a scrap of white, and I'm going to bring in one of the flower images and Memento black ink. And then we're going to color that in with our Stampin Blends. So before I go any further, I wonder if you noticed that I got my glass mat. It just came in last week. It's really nice to use. I like it a lot. I like that it has the grid lines. I like that you can clean it off really easily. So we'll talk about that more as we use it. So let me bring in my Stampin Blends. And I'm using the new in colors. So I have Peach Pie and Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop and Summer Splash. So I'm going to color these large flowers in with the peach pie. And I'm going to color all the little tiny flowers in with Pretty in Pink, and then the leaves I'm going to use Summer Splash. So Stampin' Blends really are easy to use. You don't have to be an artist, just kind of color it in and you get this beautiful little image. So now I can bring in the coordinating die, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Remember, I fast forward, so I'll be back in a jiffy. And let me show you how we're going to put the card together. So our piece of white is going to go on the inside like that. And this little flower image is going to go right there. And I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals. Just like that. Now if you want, you could stamp right there in the middle of that window, your image. But since we have this piece, I'm going to stamp on this piece and place it in here. And we'll see how that looks. So I'm going to bring back in the Memento black ink. And the sentiment is with heartfelt sympathy. Very pretty font. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the inside piece in. And then this piece we're just going to fit in there, and then we're going to open it up. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back. So I'm going to close up the card and just fit it right in that little window space. And then open up our card. So that's the front of the card, and then when you open it up, it goes like this. So I have a little smudge here, so I think I'm going to have to put a little flower or a little image there. So let me see what I have. So when I was playing with this, I was cutting out some flowers and trying to come up with some new ideas. So I'm actually going to put a little flower there. I have a petunia pop flower. I think I'll put one there, and a little orange flower maybe down here. So I'm going to glue those on. So anytime you make a mistake, you usually can fix it with a little bit of embellishment or a stamp, something similar like that. Okay, so there is card number 1. So since I had a little smudge there and I covered it up with the flower, it shows through the window. So I also added a couple of embellishments just to balance it all out. But anyway, there is card number 1. Isn't that pretty inside? I love it. Okay, let's go on to card number 2. So card number 2 also has a peach pie card base and a piece of white for inside. I have a very small piece of Country Woods Designer Series paper. I have a scrap of white for stamping a flower image. And then I have a piece of the peach pie glimmer paper. And I'm also going to use the countryside corner dies. So remember, after the video, I always have a project sheet with information on how to make all the cards that we make in our video tutorials. All you need to do is go over to my blog. You'll see the words project sheet, and you can print them out. Plus, when you go to my blog, you'll see great big pictures of tonight's cards, so you'll get to see a lot of detail in the cards with those great big pictures. So make sure you go over to my blog after the video. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have 2 of the country corners dies, and we're going to take the smallest one and we're going to put it right in the middle on the front of the card. We're going to open the card up, and we are going to go ahead and cut out a nice big window. So I would do that and be right back. Okay, so we cut that window out just in the front. So remember to open up your card base when you make that first cut, and you use the smallest of the 2 dies. So now we're going to cut a frame out of the glimmer paper. We're going to use the largest die, and we're also going to use the die we just used, and we're going to center them evenly, and we're going to cut this out, and we're going to make a frame. Okay, so this is what we get. That's just the outside edge. So we got a frame, and then we got this large piece on the inside that you'll save for other projects, but we're going to use a little bit of this in tonight's card. And let me show you the die we're going to use. Okay, so there's our little plant pot. This piece I'm going to save for another card. So I'm going to bring on our scrap and Memento black ink, and we're going to use the other flower image. It's a little bit larger flowers. And then on this little piece here, we're going to stamp Flower Market. So again, for my sentiment, I'm going to bring back in the Unbounded Love dies, and I'm going to use this one right here, and I'm going to cut out the words Flower Market. So what happens is you get 2 pieces. You get the little rectangle, and you also get the scalloped image in here. So I'm just going to break that away. So now we have these 2 little pieces. So let's color in our card, and then I'll show you how to put the card together. So again, we're going to bring in our Stampin Blends, and I have Pretty in Pink and Peach Pie and Petunia Pop and Summer Splash. So I think I'll color in the big flowers with Light Peach Pie And then I'll also use a little bit of the dark peach pie. And I'll bring, while it's still wet, I'll bring in the dark peach pie. I'll color in the center and just maybe just a little bit around the base, inner base of that flower. And then kind of blend these two colors together. This is the light. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing on the other flower. I'm going to color it in with the light and then a little bit of dark. Just like that. And then this big flower, I'm going to color in with the Pretty in Pink. And all the little rosebud type flowers, I'm going to color in with Petunia Pop. And this is light Petunia Pop. And I'll use Summer Splash for all the leaves. So again, the Stampin' Blends are so easy, and it's nice because you have the smaller tip for these little tiny spots, and then the larger tip to fill in the larger flowers and petals. So there you go with the in color. Do you like the new in colors? I think they're so pretty. I'm very excited about them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the coordinating die, and we're going to go ahead and cut this out. And I'll be right back. Okay, so now let's put this card together. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue all on the back of our frame, and I'm just going to lay it right down on our card front, just like that. So you just want to lay it down really gently so you don't misshape it, and it just fits perfectly, just like that. So I'm going to let it sit there for a bit, let that glue dry, and then we're going to bring this piece in, and our flower market sign is going to go up here at the top with our little scalloped edge, and then our flower pot's going to go here with our pretty floral arrangement. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue the white piece to the inside. So far, so good. By the way, if you're new to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe and click that notification bell. That way, whenever I do a new video, you'll be notified. And I am here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I pick one stamp set, and then I make 3 projects using that stamp set. So you get some really good ideas and inspiration for how to use the stamp sets. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of dry fit our pieces to see where they land. And I'm going to glue the plant pot down. I'm going to pop the flowers up with dimensionals. And then I'm going to glue the scalloped edge down, and then I'm going to pop up the middle on dimensionals. And I know you can't see in person, but popping that little part of that sign up really makes a difference. It really looks cool. Okay, so there is card number 2. So go ahead and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about today's cards, and let's get on with card number 3. Okay, card 3 is a little bit of a fancy fold. So I have a peach pie card base and a layer piece of white for the inside. And then for the front, I have another layer of white, and this is a piece of the 6x6 in color designer series paper. It's 2-sided, and there's 4 different designs. So we're going to put that right there. And then I went ahead and I cut out 2 peach pie circles using the deckled circles. And then I cut out 2 white deckled circles. So again, I will have all the sizes on my blog on your project sheet, so you'll know the size circles that you need to cut. And you'll know all of the different sizes and all the supplies and shopping links. And this is my host code if you shop with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And then I have a piece of the Country Woods designer series paper. and I have a scrap of white to stamp our flowers. So let's go ahead and stamp our flowers. We're going to use the same stamp that we did last time. We're going to use Memento black ink, and we're going to color it in again with the Stampin' Blends. And on this piece here, I'm going to stamp it in Early Espresso. And we're going to stamp the, looks like a watering can image. Okay, I'm going to use the same colors as last time. This time though, I'm going to color, just going to color the big flowers in the petal in pretty in pink, and then that big flower is going to be in the peach pie. Pretty easy, right? So now I'm going to bring in the coordinating dies. There's one for the watering can and one for this flower, and I'll cut them out and I will be right back. Got a pretty little flower image. I love it. And look at the can, the watering can or the planter pot. Okay, so on a skinny little strip of white, I'm going to stamp in peach pie, and I'm going to stamp best friend ever. And then I'm just going to trim it down. Just like that. And then on another scrap, I'm going to stamp Sending Love. I'm going to stamp it in peach pie. And then I'm going to bring in, from the Unbounded Love set, this piece right here, that little die, and I'm going to cut that out. So it'll give us a nice little different, unique shape. Just like that. Okay, let's put this card together. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the white piece to the inside, and then the smaller white piece to the front, and the Designer Series paper to the front. And while I'm gluing this, I want to take a moment and let you guys know that all the way through the end of June, Stampin' Up! Has a special going on that when you buy a bundle, you get an additional 10% off. So most bundles are already 10% off, so you get another 10% off. So that's through the end of June. So this Country Flowers stamp set and dies is one of the bundles that you would get an extra 10% off. And again, I will have the links, the shopping links, on my blog, so you know exactly what it was that I used on today's card. Okay, so I'm going to glue the white circles to the peach pie circles. And then our little planter pot's going to go there, and our flowers are going to go right there. So I'm going to glue the pot down, and then I'm going to pop up the flowers with dimensionals. Okay, then this piece, I'm going to go ahead and glue the center of it and kind of put it right across the flower image. Let me show you up close. Okay, so this piece here, this circle in the front, we're going to pop it up with dimensionals just on the left-hand side. So I'm just going to put it where I want. I'm going to kind of turn it over. So it's just like this. I'm just going to flip it over like this. And I'm going to put dimensionals right here on the left-hand side. So see, the dimensionals don't show. And then this one is going to go right there. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. Kind of hold it with this one on top. Just like that. And then we're going to glue that down. And then I got a little teeny tiny stamp, and I'm going to bring in Crumb Cake ink. So this is the stamp that I'm using right now with Crumb Cake. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down first. I'm just going to stamp a couple of flowers here and there. Okay, so there's your third card. Isn't that pretty? Best friend ever. So I'm going to send that to my girlfriend in North Carolina. She's been under the weather a bit, so hopefully this will cheer her up and send her some good get well vibes, right? So let's bring in all the cards for tonight. So first we made the little window card. And then we made a large window card. I really like how that flower sign is popped up. And then our pretty little fancy fold, best friend. So let me know if you have a favorite, and let me know what you think about tonight's cards. Go ahead and leave me some comments and a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe, and your project sheet will be on my blog, stampandshout.blogspot.com, and I will see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Invite your friends. Don't be shy. Stamp and Shout.